do to better your capacity to accept rejection? The first is to explore your childhood. Oftentimes, a person who fears rejection had a lot of disconnection from one or both parents when they would be rejected. So, whereas in a healthy family system, if a parent feels a certain way, they can still maintain a connection. We might have had a parent who did like silent treatment or totally disconnected. And so rejection became utterly terrifying because when you're a kid, you have to have adults. So if they're rejecting you, you're not actually safe. So the first thing is to explore that and look at, what was my experience with rejection? When did it start becoming so scary? The next is to look at, was I taught how to fail? So one thing that's often missing for most people is they're taught how to succeed, but they're not taught how to fail. And the reality is they're going to fail much more than they're going to succeed. So that can be helpful. What were the viewpoints of failure? Did I watch anyone successfully fail? Like they failed over and over, but they got back up and they ultimately were successful. Now, moving into our current functioning, when you feel rejected by something or someone, it's usually going to be a relationship. The first thing to look at is, how do I self regulate? Because, of course, when we feel rejected by the other person, we usually they're important to us. So part of us is used to getting support from them, but they're rejecting us. So, how do I self regulate? How do I show up for myself? The next is potentially getting a little distance from the object of rejection or the person or the situation. That doesn't mean severing all ties, but maybe you need to get a little bit of space. Because if you keep moving towards the thing that rejected you, trying to understand what you did or why they can't or whatever the case is, it's just going to intensify and likely end. The rejection is going to be even more severe because we're violating their boundaries. And finally, a 2010 study actually found that acetaminophen, I think that's what it's called. I think it's what's in Advil or Tylenol, actually helps with rejection pain. So when they look at scans of the brain, when we feel rejection, the same parts that light up for physical pain light up for rejection. So it literally is painful. And so you might take some acetaminophen so that you are taking care of yourself, because the study showed that it was actually effective because again it's working on that part of your brain. So I hope these are some helpful things. The last piece is just normalize rejection and take chances in life. Like the real beauty of life comes not from the status quo, but from expanding out, taking chances, getting hurt. A lot of goodness comes from getting hurt.